Hey, welcome to at Topvelocity Pitching Tips episode 2. So we got a question on Twitter. We only got one question, so we need to do a better job getting this out to you guys and you guys responding with some really good questions. So first off, if you have a question for us, if you're a pitcher looking for velocity, if you're a position player, because we do have some really great position player programs for velocity, for 60 speeds, power production. Check out the 2X programs. But if you're a position player and you have a question on velocity, throwing velocity, anything, training for power in a position player and a pitcher, obviously, anything that you can come up with, go to Twitter, hit at Topvelocity or at Stephen Godani, and hashtag Pitching Tips, and give us your question, and we want to answer it on this show that we're going to keep sending out to you. So first question from last episode, if you didn't see the last episode, go check out episode 1. But first question that we got after last episode.
Tyler Olson asked, is heavy lifting beneficial? I've heard from many people that pitchers should lift light.
Yeah, it's a great question, Tyler. Appreciate you posting that on Twitter, and we'll answer that question. Now, when we're talking about weight training, why do we weight training in the first place? Is because there's about 100 studies that I have found that shows some type of resistance training, which is adding a load to increasing pitching or throwing velocity for pitchers, position players in the sports of softball and baseball. So, do we need heavy loads? Well, that was part of your question there. Do we need heavy loads or can we do it with light loads? Well, we do have Dr. Garhammer and Haft, who found that an 80% load or an 80% of your 1 rep max is when we start to maximize mechanical power output in the body. So they found that you will have more effect on enhancing power output, which is found in a vertical jump, can be found in sprint speeds, can be found in throwing velocity. You're going to have the most effect in enhancing that mechanical power if you're at 80% of your 1 rep max. What's a 1 rep max? The most amount of weight you can do at one time.
92. That was 90.
It's pretty obvious that the science is out that some type of load training enhances velocity. Hey, baseball is always the last one to figure out all this great information coming from strength and conditioning because football knew about this in the 3rd. And that's the problem today. Baseball is kept it secret what these athletes can do. It's not like football where you have the NFL combine. And we know what the wide receivers are running their 40s in, and how high they're jumping, and how much they're bench pressing, and how far they're jumping. We don't have that in baseball, but it is being tested. They're just not letting us know. So everyone out there is completely, misguided on what level or what kind of athletes these are that we're watching every day on MLB.
I can squat 405. That's one of my favorites, and then I can power clean about 375.
Mike Rizzo, GM of the Washington Nationals. I'm just letting you know this is Bryce's workout, not mine.
In the off season, it's mainly, heavyweight and just trying to build that strength up for the year.
Come on, don't you wanna go home? Don't you wanna be more than a clone? Do you know?
You should just look at the science of how that shows that the hormonal increases that are lifted from heavy load training. It's tremendous. You're actually creating an anabolic effect lifting at heavy loads. That will take a young kid at 16, 17 and mature him early, and that'll take an older athlete like David Aardsma, 33, coming at the end of his career losing speed, and bring him back up to 94 where he was in the middle of his career.
Mitchell's kind of the guy you caught at 17, right?
Yeah, for example, so we have Mitchell Seawald, who was a guy who came through our program about 16 years old. And when we got into heavy loads, it took time. When we got into heavy loads, We really saw his body change, mature, fill out. That explosiveness come into his body. With a power clean at 275, a back squat at 350, a bench press at 275, a vertical jump at 34 inches. We've got Bob Wheatley, a guy who was 82, 83 at USC, who is now in minor league ball at 91, and he was power cleaning 250 when he left, and back squatting 315. And Bob's knows that when he comes back and that goes up more, his ball speed keeps going up. He was just told when he left high school, where he was not only a great baseball player but a great football player, he was told that he shouldn't lift the way he was in high school, and he saw his ball speed come down.
So if you're catching guys when they're coming in like high school, like 16, 17 years old, that young age when the hormones are really going, and you start getting them with this kind of training, does it give them kind of almost like a steroid effect?
Yes, it is an anabolic effect. We know that there's 2 studies that found that Olympic lifting, specifically heavy loads, it remodels and hypertrophies fast twitch muscle fiber. Now, Olympic lifting is the best way to get that effect, remodeling and hypertrophying fast twitch muscle fiber, which is an anabolic effect, just like steroids, but legally, out of all the other lifts. It's the best one at doing because it recruits more motor units, more muscle fiber, and breaks down more of them to be rebuilt, and your body needs the hormones to support that, so that's why we get that anabolic effect like steroids. Obviously, we don't promote steroids, we promote a legal an alternative, the most effective alternative, which is Olympic lifting, which is also with heavy loads.
So why do you think guys in high school, like a lot of coaches, like I'm personally mad that I didn't have this type of training when I was in high school, because I think I could have benefited from this and been a totally different athlete by the time I reached college. So what do you think's holding guys back at a young age just committing to a program like this?
It's a good question. It's conventional wisdom. You've been told for years and years and years that weight training wouldn't do what it does on a football field, on a baseball field. Of course, because there's another level to it. It's how you convert that to your skill, which is the technical training, which is we're also very big on here, Topvelocity, the biomechanical aspects of it. But you were told, you were misled by coaches that it wouldn't have an effect, that you didn't have to lift like a football player. And we're not saying you have to lift like a football player, because they are really hard on the strength side, but we do really want to if we could take the power from football, it is huge in baseball. For example, Bryce Harper, cleaning 375. Do you think that has something to do with his bat power? This guy was throwing 95 in college as a pitcher. He had probably a sub 2.0 hop time behind the plate as a catcher, right? That power is what is driving all that. But the problem is guys in high school and college who are hearing this, the reason you don't want to believe it is because every one of your peers or every one of your mentors has told you that this isn't true, that this doesn't have an effect. And they're completely wrong. And it's fine. Let them keep telling you that, because I know it works. That's why when guys come to me, I can actually help them. All I have to do is convince them that this actually works. And that's what we do here.
Hey!
Now, it's not easy. There is challenges to making it work, but it works once you figure out how to connect the dots to the skill. All right, so those are good questions. So if you have any more of those questions out there, if you want to talk more about this, please post more questions on this. We want to answer them. We want this show to really provide a lot of value to you. So please give us questions. We can't do this without you. So post them on Twitter at Topvelocity, at Stephen Godani, #Pitchingtips, and we're going to answer those questions in the next episode. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching.